Give it a minute to start. All right, are we starting yet? All right, should be working. Okay, today I'm probably gonna do a pretty short one of these, because. This has been a bit of a rough week. Sort of, what do you call it? A bit of a bust. I had to go to Boquete, which is this town on the other, not the other end of the country, but the other side of the country, just to take care of some stuff. And there was a stomach flu. You can't be over here, man. I told you that. Anyway, there was a stomach flu going around. There was so much throwing up and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I didn't get anything done this week. I was just, I had some throwing up too. I only threw up once though. It's funny, like a 6-year-old can just stand there, just blah, like everything they've eaten for the last 6 hours. But like, I've not thrown up in so long. It's really hard to throw up. I also don't want to do it. Anyway, everyone seems to be getting better now, so it's fine. But while I was in Boquete, it's this little town up in the mountains on the Pacific side. I don't know. It's closer to the Pacific side of Canada. Anyway, it's way up in the mountains. Popular town with like gringos and stuff. In that town, there was a super remate. I don't know what remate means. I know what remachas are. Those rivets. But I don't know what remate is. But super remate is like a thrift store anyway. So I went in there, kind of excited to be like, oh, yay, a lot of rich people live around here. They always have nice, thrifty stuff in thrift stores. So I got a box of Lego, pretty cheap. That was sweet. And then, a few other little things like some shorts and a few things for my kids. And then, well, the Lego was for my kids. And then I saw these boots, these awesome boots for like $5, like really nice boots. And I was like, sweet. And I go over, and they only have one size of these boots. 5 pairs of these nice boots for $5, and there's only one size, and it's US 14 and a half. Who the hell has feet that big? Oh, this guy right here, that's who. So I bought 3 pairs of them. That was very exciting. I've been wanting to get some boots for a while, but apparently people in Central America just don't have big feet. So that was very exciting for me. Anyway, I just threw my boot. Oh, where should go? Hold on. You go over there, boot. All right. Also this week, I had a stupid conversation. So let me just share that with you because I think there's some important lessons in this dumb conversation I had. Well, just to give a bit of a clarification. First, this gentleman wrote me a lengthy email about all these points that were wrong with me, and I answered them one at a time with my own, not quite so lengthy email, because I like to get to the point, but I went through basically all his points and was like, oh, well, I actually do this because of this, and I actually disagree with you here because of this and this and this, I answered it, and then he promptly disregarded everything I said and sent this huge email, of which I only read about 10% because that's all I could read. And it went something like this. Jaimie! I may be making up the tone because it was all in text, but Jaimie, you should not be using the term woke. Because last week, maybe the week before that, I used the term woke when I was talking about, wokesters. You know what I'm talking about. The blue-haired people who have pronouns and, I don't know, care about things that just don't matter. I don't know. So anyway, this dude's like, you can't use the word woke because conservatives use the word woke. And I'm like, I guess I'm conservative according to this guy. Okay, I guess that means I don't have credit card debt. I have savings instead, and I'm not promiscuous, and I like to conserve the environment. Okay, whatever. And then he's like, if you use terms like woke, you're going to attract conservatives. And I'm like, okay. I guess, whatever. And then he said, and you shouldn't even be talking about this stuff, these social situations you talk about sometimes, because they don't even have any effect on you in your life. because I guess this guy thinks I live in his little bubble, or like this, I don't know, or on another planet, or have my own little universe. But I don't know, this guy might be watching. He watches a lot of these videos. Dude, I live on planet Earth, and I deal with humans on planet Earth. I have in fact left 2 countries where I had homes because of social situations where I saw massive problems, largely regarding these wokesters. And these wokesters, like I was just explaining in the conversation, they completely disregard anything you say and just start throwing poop at you. And I know that when he was saying conservative, he was meaning it in a derogatory way, but I just refused to take it that way. But this is what the wokesters do. And this isn't even just the left people. The wokesters are the lefties, but there's also a right-wing faction of this same thing that pretends they're opposites, but they're the same. We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, what these lunatics do is they disregard everything you say and start throwing names at you, labels. You're a conservative. And this was him trying to be really polite. If he wasn't trying to be so polite, he would have called me racist and sexist and bigoted and a Nazi and I don't know what else. But this is how these people work. So on the left, you got these wokesters, and on the right, you got these, what he was trying to insinuate with this term conservative is, the greedy warmonger. What is it? I don't know. Those psychopaths, right? So what often happens here is that if you try to have a reasonable point of view and think for yourself, you end up in this large majority, which is in the middle. And there's this huge range of people in the middle, right? And none of these people agree on everything. Because when people have their own thoughts and their own ideas, there's like the chances of running into someone who agrees with everything you think is like almost zero, right? Because people who are independent thinkers, they have different ideas about all kinds of different things. And you can generally agree with someone, but you're going to find little bits of things you disagree with. So you end up with this huge number of this majority of people who, left to their own devices, will come up with their own ideas, and they won't all match up with everyone else around them, which I think is great. But then you've got these 2 factions, and this is particularly true in the United States, but also a lot of other places. But we're just going to use the United States. That's where this guy's from, and the United States really, what's the word? Really exaggerates this because it's a 2-party political system. You end up with the left and the right. Or are you looking anyway? And the lefties and the righties are basically the same. All they're trying to do is control people, and they just argue about how they want to ruin people's lives, like which details they want to do. But the people on the far left and the people on the far right are both just trying to control everyone, and they're like the same group of people. And they pretend that because, well, we like abortion and you don't, and now we're going to be for free speech and you be against free speech. Oh, no, wait, a few years later, we'll be for free speech and you be against free speech. Yeah, let's just swap it around so people think we're different. But it's just like these two factions that are the same one, just trying to force people to conform to whatever they want to do, just trying to control people, right? And what ends up happening to this majority of people in the middle who want to think for themselves, or who, left to their own devices, would just think for themselves and come up with their own ideas and just figure out how to live on their own. What happens is they run into one of these wokesters or one of these right-wing nuts, and if they're not in that person's party, they accuse you of being in the opposite party. And if you talk to someone from the opposite party and you're not all with them, they accuse you of being over there. So both parties are trying to shove you into one. And they throw up their hands like, oh, we're not trying to recruit you. We're trying to send you away to our other party. So they pretend they're all innocent because we're not trying to grab you and bring you here. We're trying to send you away. And then what ends up happening to most people is they end up joining one of these parties because that's the only way to not get attacked by both parties. And it's really frustrating to see most people just accepting it and going into one part or the other. And I don't know, I guess at some point in time, people just lost their balls. They just lost the ability to say, no, you know what, I'm going to stand up for myself, even if all you people are screaming at me and all you people are screaming at me. I'm a person, and I can be an individual and think for myself, just like all of these other people. And all of these other people, even though I don't agree with them completely, we can all stand together. People aren't doing that anymore. They're like jumping into one party or the other, and they end up pushing. The more people end up in these parties, the harder they push on people who are free thinkers in the middle, who are silenced more and more to the point now where, like, you be careful what you say, because if you're not on the right platform that's run by the right party and you say the wrong thing, you get kicked off or fined or mysteriously disappear in the middle of the night. It's crazy. And the weirdest thing is, I saw all this when I was like 8 years old, which is why I didn't want to live in Canada. I grew up in Canada and I saw all this coming, right? I saw all this stuff happening. And I would argue with adults and they say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a little kid. You're an idiot. You're stupid. And it was so obvious and clear. And I think children can generally see what's going on, but they get crushed by all this pressure to conform that by the time they get to adulthood, they've picked a party. So the few standouts, the few stubborn little bastards like me, I wasn't literally a bastard, but they end up just in this weird fringe piece of society that doesn't fit in with either party. And it's not that I was like super smart or something. Like, I'm pretty smart, but it's not that smart. Like, not so smart that I was seeing things that other people weren't seeing. It's just that most people are being lazy and just don't want to see what's right in front of their face. So they say, oh, okay, life's going to be easier if I just accept one of these parties and just join onto that. Life will be so much easier in the short term. But in the long term, things just keep getting worse and worse. So when I was like 8 years old, I was looking at my country, the society around me in Canada, and I was like, this is going all these bad directions. Why do you adults not see it? Oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then what, like 40 years later, now we got Justin Trudeau tearing the country apart. No one can afford to buy a house. And just the quality of life is going downhill. In the United States, freedom of speech is gone. Like, all over the world, there's all this stuff just being eroded because people are taking the easy way out. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's all I got to say about that right now. So yeah, if you're like one of these wokesters, or you need me to believe in your cause, or you just want me to shut up, you don't want me to talk about things, go. I'm gonna try not to swear too much right now, but go F yourself. Like, that's not cool, man. I'm not gonna listen to that. No one should listen to that. You should never listen to someone tell you you're not allowed to talk because it's either it doesn't affect you, or you're not important, or your thoughts are stupid. You know what? Almost always thoughts that you've come up with yourself are going to be better than the thoughts that you're buying from the media. Just like food. It's like food. Pretty much anything you cook at home is going to be more healthy than anything you buy at a restaurant, with few exceptions. But yeah. All right. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, Lieutenant Dan's legs has size 14. Dude, if you have size 14 feet, you would totally fit in these. I'm kind of size 14, but 14 and a half is actually kind of nice because it gives me a little bit of toe space so my toes aren't mashed up at the end. I was actually pleasantly surprised when I put them on. But yeah, I got 3 pairs of those boots, $5 a piece. It was pretty sweet, man. B, how is everyone? Mr. Landfill, what's going on, man? Let me just turn up my brightness a little. My 6-year-old sitting here watching me. How am I doing? Am I doing good? Okay, he says I'm doing a good job. Am I making sense? Yeah? You understand everything I'm saying? He's like, wow. Some of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Wizard of the North says, Rusty Shackelford, Jaimie, get it out. Let out a power chunder. I have no idea what a power chunder is, but that sounds powerful. How is your campground coming along? Well, I've not been working on it because, I can only work on one thing at a time, Well, maybe like 3 things at a time. Yeah, my running trail around the island and my what's it called? My plateau up on the hill behind the house is almost done. And I have some really fun plans for up there. Like basically, up behind my house, there's a hill. And, it was a hill. But now there's a big flat part that's almost totally dug out. And I've got some really cool plans for up there. And I want to build the first cabin that I want to build at the campground up there. So it's going to be kind of the test one, the one where I figure out all the details and get it all worked out. So it'll be smoother to build more over at the campground. And yeah, I've been working on the second floor and stuff like that. But the campground's kind of been on hold for a little bit. But I've definitely been thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things. It's just me here by myself doing all this stuff. So, and most of the time I have like 4 kids. I'm also taking care of stuff. Actually, they help though. You guys definitely help me with stuff, right? They've been helping me dig and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, the campground, it's been on hold for a bit. Oh, Rusty Shackelford says, "Go get woke, go broke." Yeah, man. My favorite part is like just the ridiculous statements like, "You shouldn't even be talking about this. This doesn't affect you." Like just for no reason at all. Let's just invalidate everything you say because blah, 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 nothing, no reason. Just everything you say is invalid because I'm a wokester and I don't like what you're saying. So it's all invalid because it doesn't affect you. So shut up. It's so weird. Yeah, it never makes any sense. Hey, Rusty. Hi, Landfill. What's up, champ? This guy sounds woke, champ says. Yeah, and I only got through like 10% of the last message. I don't know. It just kept going on and on. I was like, I got the picture. I get what you're laying down here. Anil Jaimie from Canada. What does that mean? Wayne Bear. I think. Wait, Ani. I don't know. I think maybe you had a typo there or something. Or are you saying you knew I was from Canada? Yeah, I'm totally from Canada. Eh? See, I can talk like Canada, I can speak all Canadian if I haven't been in Canada for like over a decade, but if I like cross the border, I totally start talking Canadian like right away. Unless I'm trying not to, in which case, no, I'm not talking Canadian. Canadian accent is really easy to do. And I didn't have a strong Canadian accent because I grew up near the border of the United States. So, we said A and stuff, but, it was basically the same as American accent with, a little bit of Canadian accent, particularly just the A's. But you go to Northern Canada and you get that's when you get like the really strong Canadian accent, eh? And I think when I think about doing the really strong Canadian accent, I just think about if my lips were frozen, eh? Like my lips were like totally frozen. I couldn't move them at all, eh? Then you can do the really good Canadian accent. Like you're out there on the hockey rink and you're playing and it's just a freezing cold blizzard coming in your face and your face is all frozen. You can't move your lips at all. Yeah, that's how you get the good Canadian accent, eh? And you got to say A at the end of everything, of course. But you can't do it like Americans because I've heard Americans try to do Canadian A and they say like, A? No, it's totally not it. Anyway, first floor rants. He did not dig a basement. That's true. I don't have a basement. Although this is kind of like a basement. It's all concrete. I wanted to have my first floor be kind of basement-like. Yeah, kind of a little dark. And it is actually below ground level at the back. It's just between the house and the ground. Like I dug out the ground before I put the house here, and I left the space between the house and the ground, like a meter or so. So there's like an alley. But like if you look out the second story window at the back, like eye level is the ground level up there. So it is kind of, underground. Although the front of the house, since it's on a hill, this part's actually above ground level. Like you could go out the front door and walk down a little. Anyway, it is. I did want it to be a little bit basement-y, so it would be nice and cool because it's a tropical place. When it gets sunny, it's hot. Come in here, it's always nice and cool in here. Although I'm still hot from the stomach virus we all had this week. Like I haven't. Yeah, my body's still. I don't know. Still, it's like kind of worn out. Still recovering. I don't feel like I'm gonna barf or anything. Like I'm recovering and everything. But yeah, my body's still kind of like hot, like working to repair all the damage or whatever. I don't know. Ken says, "Oh, Ken, I was thinking about you today. I'm pretty sure you sent me that underwater camera, right? I think that was you. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, but I think that was you. The water was amazingly clear today. But yeah, since I had that stomach virus this week, I didn't really want to go diving, but the water was really clear today. It would have been a great day to do some underwater video stuff." All right, Ken says, "It's hilarious that George Washington said in his farewell address to not have political parties." Yeah, that's what happens, political parties. Yeah. There are a lot of things that past presidents have said. Of course, I have to say allegedly because I wasn't there, I didn't hear it for myself. So anything you hear about history, you always have to take with a bit of grain of salt. But I'm just gonna operate presuming George Washington actually said that, and that one other president, I can't remember who it was, said that the greatest thing he did during his presidency was he defeated the banks, like he stopped the banks. Okay, can you stop doing that? That's kind of noisy. And then a few years after that, the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank, which is insanity, took over the US dollar. It's like, the whole idea behind the United States has just been eroded and eroded and eroded over time. And every time a piece of it gets taken away, it just never comes back, And it's really unfortunate because, I'm not saying that the United States didn't have some mistakes. There was slavery and there were some other problems, blah, blah. There were plenty of problems. But there was a generalized, say, right after talking about slavery, a generalized, desire for freedom, which really needed to be conveyed to everyone, not just the people of certain people. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the whole slavery. It's a huge can of worms. But there were a lot of really amazing things about the United States that, have just been eroded away over time. And it's kind of sad because when it's a one direction thing, when things only get taken away and never added back, it eventually just has to collapse. And there's been this amazing civilization we've got today with incredible technology and knowledge and all this amazing stuff that has come from just people having imagination and ingenuity and figuring out just unbelievably amazing things. Like building a friggin' collider that like spins electrons around like miles and miles of track to smash them together to see what the hell the universe is made out of. Like all that kind of stuff. Like what? Like people figured that stuff out, figured out how to actually make it and figure out what it means when they get the data back, or like just figuring out how the universe, just all this amazing knowledge and stuff coming from the civilization that was built up, and to be alive during the time when it's just crumbling is so much is being lost. And I don't even know if there is a way for it to not, whatever. Of course, there's still hope. Well, let's move on. I think he's talking about the first Trudeau when he was 8 years old. Well, I wasn't even aware when I was 8 years old. I wasn't even aware of who was that, prime minister or anything. I was just aware of the culture around me, the people around me. And as I grew up, I would talk to people and I'd be like, why is this happening? Why is this like this? Why are people saying this? This doesn't make sense. And I'd constantly be yelled at stop doing that. That I'm an ignorant kid and stupid and don't know what I'm talking about. And the older I got, the more I realized all those ideas I had when I was a kid that just came from thinking before I started getting any of the propaganda. That was the best ideas. Anyway, how would you define the again in MAGA? Oh God. Okay, MAGA is the Make America Great Again. I don't know. I personally wouldn't even say Make America Great Again, because that would mean going back to a better time that was still flawed, where we should have learned from those flaws. Guys, this is specifically talking about the United States. This is Trump's slogan, right? Make America Great Again. I don't think he's the only one who said it, but that's he's the one who's like kind of the poster child for it right now. And I get where it's coming from because the country is in decline. So reversing it back to, 50, 60 years ago would be a massive improvement in a lot of ways. And, keeping the current technology and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But I think it would be better to say, okay, look, let's turn some things back, because some of the things we were doing before were better. But we've also learned from a lot of previous mistakes. So let's not actually go back. Let's learn from the past and let's go forward and make America great, better, like make it great, like just continually improve instead of having this decline. Because we should have learned, and I say we, I don't live in the United States, I'm not a citizen there or anything, but this does apply to a lot of countries in the world. But we should have learned from mistakes of the past, learned how to prevent things from slowly collapsing over time. Like George Washington said, man, it's funny, these guys knew this stuff. How many hundred years ago was George Washington around? He's like, don't let a political party system take over. What did he say? I don't want to scroll up, I'm going to lose my place. But yeah, the political parties turned. I was just talking to my 6-year-old about this. I was talking to all my kids about this. How in the United States, you have, for president of the entire country, for the guy for the whole country, you get a choice out of 2 people. You get 2 choices, and that is it. Now, technically, you get more, but you really only get 2 choices. Hey, dude, can you grab my light? Thanks, man. Let's see. And that's because of the 2-party system, The guy who sent you an email was some autistic, woke person living in mom's basement, never built a house or started a family. I don't know. It could have been, I don't know, maybe. But the thing is, he's probably not necessarily all that. He could just be a normal guy who doesn't want to deal with anything, which is a lot of people. Like there's sort of an here. There's sort of an epidemic of laziness. I think what Elon Musk called it, the woke mind virus, which is basically just laziness. Like just not thinking. And a lot of people do that. Yeah, even people who have homes or didn't build it, certainly don't build it with your brain turned off. But people who can buy their own homes and start a family, be terrible parents because they don't actually participate. They just send their kid off to daycare. Ugh. That's one of the most important things about all this. You gotta. You found a marble? Yeah. Awesome. A black one. 4-year-olds are hilarious. It's like having a clown living in your house. Anyway, speaking of kids, yeah, being a parent is like the most important job anyone can do, and people are just not doing it. Because like if we're not raising our kids to be the amazing people of the future, then we don't have amazing people in the future, and we can't make the world great in the future. We can't even make it what it was, let's see. And yeah, when you're not being a parent, you're not teaching the mistakes from the past, so people can learn. Even if you as an adult are learning from the past mistakes, if you're not passing that knowledge on to your kids, it's pointless. You have to raise your kids yourself and do a good job. You have to put effort into it. What are you doing, sir?
Waiting.
Oh, just waiting for me to shut up so we can go watch a movie? One of these days, we need a full island tour. Do you have a quadcopter? I don't. It would be amazing to see a bird's eye view. They're pretty cheap these days. They are pretty cheap these days. Yeah, I just haven't gotten one. Can you show us your upstairs running trap? Well, it's pretty dark right now. I did show it pretty recently, though, in one of the videos. Which video was it? Yeah, it was a video when I was working on it, I think. But yeah, I didn't get anything done on it this week. I basically got nothing done this week. It's one of my kids running upstairs. Rusty Shackelford says, how's it going, buds? Hey, stop running up there for a minute. Give me like 5 more minutes. A Doctor Who again, or an increase in standing again? Oh, if a time travel mega, then to when? Okay, I think I answered that. Yeah, I don't think we should go back. I think we always have to go forward. We always have to learn from the past. Just because there was a better point in the past doesn't mean that's what we should aim for. We should aim for the best parts of that, plus everything we've learned from the mistakes of that time, to always make things better, to always improve. We should always aim for something better than the past. So I guess, I've never really thought about it before, but yeah, I guess I don't really agree with that whole make America great again thing. Unless you're not referring to turning it back, like to make it, I think you should make it greater, whatever it is. Whatever. Take it upstairs and put it with the Lego. Oh man. Wizard of the North. Oh, Rusty Shackelford says, Wizard of the North, so true. My dad was distracted by a computer, worked a job he hated to support us, and resented his wife. LOL, society has turned men into broken shells. Now my dad resents my success. Yeah, I grew up with divorced parents too, and I use the term parents very loosely. I basically didn't have parents growing up. And I've been trying to meet a woman today, and it's just like trying to meet someone who even has the idea of like prioritizing a family in their head is I'm not going to say it's impossible to find, but man, it's hard to find someone like that. I did. I'm glad you thought of me. Yes, I did send that. Yes, Ken, I thought that was you. Okay. But yeah, I've been meaning to get a video of some underwater sea life. But yeah, like this week I was sick. The water was filthy for a few weeks. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Things come and go. I like steam engine trains. I like steam engine trains too. Rusty Shackelford says, Ken Wasiki, I really hope it was you who sent the email. What was your motivation? Oh, no. He sent the camera, not the email. Yeah. It was another guy who's on here regularly. I'm trying not to insult him, but I got to call it the way I see it, Yes, he sent the underwater camera, not the email. Right. Even better. Yes, U.S. and Canadian politics are literally red versus blue. Not really. I mean, it's just kind of the same nonsense. I mean, the same thing is happening in both countries. Of course, you could pick apart the details and find the differences, but generally speaking, you know, there are a few people just being greedy pigs, just living it up with all these luxuries and nonsense that doesn't matter at the expense of all these other people. And it's not just the US and Canada, it's a lot of places. And it's unfortunate, you know. And people just lack internal morality. The people doing that stuff lack the morality to not do it. And then the people who should be stopping them, even just by not supporting them, like not playing into their hands all the time, they're just not motivated. They're not courageous enough. They're just, I don't know, it's like there's this lethargy of just like, oh, just go along with it. It's like a zombie apocalypse, you know. There's so many people just going along with it. Oh, it's easier, you know. Ken says, back then, the loser of the election would be the vice president. Could you imagine that? America lately is just so much about race, it's exhausting. That would actually be kind of cool, to go back to a system where there's no parties, and the person who wins the election, they're the president. The person who comes second, they're the vice president, and there's no parties involved, you know. That would be, yeah. I mean, just getting rid of the political parties would be a huge step in the right direction. Wendy says, woke is realizing that your genetic great-grandfather's Scottish clan tartan pattern matches your skin tones. Being aware is having been raised knowing it. That was a mouthful. Sam Offgrid said, 13s are what I roll in. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I need to charge this up today.
You want me to charge up a glow in the dark thing for you? All right, hold that in my light for a second. How far along is the running track? The running track is like 2/3 of the way done, and here. And I'm not really in a rush to finish it right now because I don't have enough boards to finish it. I have enough boards for maybe like 2 or 3 more layers, but I'm gonna need like another 5 after that. So I'm gonna have to go cut some more wood out of the jungle, like find a log somewhere. Like 1 log will do it. It's not even that much wood, you know, but I definitely don't have enough here. So implement socialism. Do not implement socialism. Tug Ben, please do not implement socialism. Taxes should go to infrastructure and healthcare. No, I do not think so at all. Great America would be one with fewer regulations. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, socialism is a disaster. I don't know how people can still be pushing for socialism. I just have to presume that you're ignorant of every socialist try that's been done. Or you think that you would do it better, even though it's been done wrong so many times. The problem with socialism, communism, they're both, I mean, one is a political thing, one's a monetary thing, but it's basically the same. You can't separate money from politics. So, socialism or communism, the problem with those is that you end up with centralized power that has power over too much. And once you have that, I mean, who's going to want those positions? The worst people in the world, right? Also, all of the worst people fight for those positions of power to control everyone. And that's one of the many problems with socialism.
What's socialism?
I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. Lois says family is everything. Yes. Yeah, family is hugely important, and that's something that's just been minimized to such a huge degree that just everything else is falling apart. You know, it's sort of like if you took all the plankton out of the ocean And then the things that eat the plankton die, and the things that eat those die, and the things that eat those die, and all the oxygen disappears, and over time, just everything falls apart. That's what happens to a civilization when families fall apart. Like that's like the basis of the entire civilization. Like you have to have strong families, or everything else doesn't matter. Like nothing else is going to work if you don't have intergenerational knowledge and intergenerational wealth that's not monetary. I mean, monetary is fine too, but you got to have some kind of wealth that's being passed down through generations. And if you're not doing that, you just end up with generations who have to start over every generation. And it's stupid. It wastes so much time. Like, I feel like I wasted so much time at the beginning of my life trying to figure out things that my parents should have taught me. And that's one of the reasons I try to do a really good job of teaching my kids, because I saw how easy it would have been for my parents to teach me so many things that I had to learn just really difficult ways through a lot of struggle, through a lot of time. And struggle is great, but I could have used that struggle to go beyond what I could have been taught by my parents instead of starting from scratch. Intergenerational wealth, very important. I really like the idea of like the old Southern families where there would be like a big house, and the family would live in the house, and the kids would end up, like, some portion of the kids would end up inheriting the house, and some other kids would end up building houses next door, and it would just keep expanding, as opposed to what I grew up with, which was like, okay, you're an adult, get out, go away, figure it out. It's like, what? That's it? Just start from scratch. No, get out. Here's some debt. Go to school. Oh, like the worst advice possible. Anyway. Yeah, fewer regulations for sure. Any politician for life should not be multimillionaires. No one should be a politician for life. That should not be a job. Like, being a politician was originally supposed to be a term of service. Like, literally, like, those words are important. It's a term of service. You serve the people because you can. And you put your life aside for 4 years or however many years, and you take care of things that need to be taken care of. And at the end of that term of service, you go back to your life, and then you live in the results of whatever you did during your term of service. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to go become a governor for like until you die, so you never actually have to deal with the results of any of your decisions. This is totally insane. Well, you want to scratch your back? Oh, I think you're doing great. Keep going. Well, thanks, Lois. Wizard of the North says, don't you think that the lethargy is promoted through TV? Yes, I think it absolutely is. The lethargy isn't something that's inherent to people. I think it's being taught, and people are just excited. It's all this propaganda from the TV, from the internet, from the radio, from all this advertising, all this propaganda. Like, you watch a sitcom, it tells you to be dumb and sit around and waste your life because it's cool and funny. And then people just do it because they think that's what they're supposed to do. But that's also part of the lethargy, is just letting that come. And another part of the lethargy is the food we're eating. Like, I've noticed definitely a difference in the way I feel when I stopped eating sugar, for example, and I almost never eat out at restaurants. And like I was saying earlier, pretty much anything you cook at home is going to be better for you than pretty much anything you buy at a restaurant. And I found that to be the case. And I think bad food has a lot to do with it, because it just makes people feel drained, and just it takes the fight out of you. Like, if you eat corn syrup all the time and just garbage and all this food that makes you feel like crap, and people don't want to fight back or deal with anything, so they just accept stuff and just say, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And then they end up never dealing with it, things that need to be dealt with. Oh, that was just the first sentence of your thing. Let's see. Lethargy is promoted through TV. Absolutely. Our society is designed to keep us distracted. Yes, it's much easier to watch Netflix than to protest or even stay informed about politics. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I know what that's like. Like when I had a really difficult time, like a year and a half ago or whatever, all I want to do is like play video games or veg out or just go on the internet and watch stupid videos, just try to take my mind off of the horrendous crap that was being dumped on me, right? But at some point I had to be like, all right, I gotta figure out how to deal with this. I have to find some way of fighting through this mess. And that's the only reason I got through it and things are kind of okay now. But it definitely would have been a lot easier to just be like, all right, that's it. I'm just gonna go play video games, watch dumb videos. And yes, it is the fault of all this propaganda and TV and stuff to a degree, but in the end, you always have to blame yourself. You always have to take responsibility yourself. And this reminds me of this stupid rule I had when I was a kid, and I would play with my brother and a bunch of friends. Like there'd be like, I don't know, 8 of us playing Nintendo. When one guy was playing, someone else would be like, go there, do that. And everyone would be yelling at the person to do stuff. And then they go there and get killed. And the guy playing would be like, why'd you tell me to do that, man? You got me killed. And we ended up coming up with this rule that was, regardless of what anyone else tells you, when you have the controller in your hand, your guy is your responsibility. And that was a lesson I learned really early in life. That was really important. That didn't just apply to video games, it applies to real life. Like the final responsibility always comes down to me. Regardless of all the voices in my head, all the people yelling at me, all the peer pressure, all the stuff saying, do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs? No, the final responsibility, the final decision is always mine. And that's a really important thing. It's a really important thing to know. Really important. So when you're playing Gradius and someone says, go fly there, and you get killed, you can't blame it on them. You're the one that controls. It's your responsibility, right? Anyway.
Why don't we go watch the movie?
Yeah, we're going to watch one, and I'm going to get off this in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Wait. Where are we? There's a bunch of comments I missed. Okay, there we go. I recently got a washing machine from 1924. That's 100 years ago. It have 2 motors on it. It spins but doesn't work. Seeing you work on motors, how hard do you think it would be to fix them? Okay. The motors, the wiring is probably not good. If it's that old, there's a good chance the wires coming out of it have cloth braided over the copper. So I'd have to look at it to see for sure, but there's a good chance you'll have to replace just like the wires going into the motors. And then I would check the wire coils to make sure the coating, the plastic, I don't know what it was back then, some kind of lacquer coating around the magnetic wire. Make sure that looks like it's still on there. And if those 2 things are all right, and there's nothing like broken looking in there, and then check the brushes, of course. Unless it's probably an AC motor. Oh, it doesn't even need brushes then. Yeah, there's a good chance the motors will still work. However, if you can't get the motors to work, I would say it's still going to be worth it to repair it, to get 2 motors and just replace them. Because probably the rest of the machine is built so strong, it's going to last like another 100 years. Where if you buy something made today, it's made to break. Things today are just made to break. This is part of the decline of society. Things are made to break. Disposable society. So in terms of going back, like that would be one of the things we have to go back to, is making things to last. But then we also have to learn from the mistakes of that time and include newer technology. So for example, like wires used to have this braided cloth coating on them, but now we have much better plastic coatings that last a long time. So replace that, like take the good stuff from the past and the good stuff from now and add it to the good stuff from the future. And that's how you make progress. That's how you get somewhere. Making the same mistakes over and over, that's how things fall apart. There's this sort of, I don't know, it's like a mental condition. Maybe there's a name for this or something, but I don't know. It's just something I've observed personally. I don't know any studies on this or something. But there's something I've observed in certain types of people where they continually change everything they're doing right and continue to do everything they're doing wrong. And they just have a tendency to do this. Just like their default decisions is to keep doing the things keep making the same mistakes and stop doing the things that are working. And I don't know exactly how this, I think that this has got to be part of this weird propaganda thing of convincing people that they're supposed to fail. I think that's got to be a lot to do with it. Like people today are convinced that they're supposed to be failing. So if they're not failing at something, they feel like something is wrong, So they end up changing what's going right, what's working. And I think another part of it is that people are afraid to fail when they're not expecting it. So when something is working well, they get scared and nervous. It's like, oh, this is working. Oh no, it's gonna blow up in my face any minute. I better just stop doing it. And they change it until they have all these things that are not working around them. And then it's like they can be comfortable. Okay, everything's not working. Nothing's gonna suddenly break because everything already doesn't work. Fine, and then they'll only have things work as much as they absolutely need to. It's kind of a weird psychological craziness that I've observed in a lot of people today.
We should get off in a few minutes.
I should get off in a few minutes? All right.
So we can watch the movie.
Lois says, connection between kin is what endures. Yes, intergenerational wealth and knowledge. That is something super important. Yeah, totally. Super duper important. And just all these broken families. Like, one of the things that I'm really frustrated about, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not that frustrated about it, but I look at it and I'm just like, what a massive missed opportunity. Like, my parents basically gave me nothing. Like, no traditions, no knowledge, I don't know. It was just like, here, start from scratch, go, get out of here. I actually learned a bunch of really kind of bad habits from my parents. But yeah, there was no like, okay, I'm your parent, I've got this started, here's something you can build off to help you with your life, and you can build a good future for yourself and then for your children, and they can continue to build on it. And every generation can just keep adding to whatever, and yeah. I mean, so many missed opportunities in that stuff. Wendy says a decent prompt could get a reasonable AI to make a program to charge individuals for a truer capitalistic society. Well, I would even argue against a capitalistic society, because it depends how you define all this stuff. But I think the problem with a capitalistic society is just the term capital. It really puts too much emphasis on capital, like on money. And that's one of the problems we have today, is that so many people measure things in dollar amounts, and dollars are not the valuable thing. I would more want like some kind of moralistic society where people aren't motivated by money. They're motivated by doing the right thing. And money can be a part of it. That's a tool. It's something to use, but it's not the focus as it becomes in a capitalist society where everything is money. Everything becomes about money. I think that really screws up a lot of things, without going into a million details, because my kids are here like, hey, when are we going to watch our movie? But yeah, I think, are there words for other types of communities or societies that I don't know of, that I haven't heard? I mean, there's got to be other names for this stuff that I've just never learned because they weren't taught. But you got capitalism, communism, socialism. Communism and socialism kind of go together. Monarchy, dictatorship, and a lot of these have overlaps and stuff like that. But what about just like a moralistic society? What's that society where individuals, it's some kind of humanist society or something, where people who are individuals try to add the most value they can to the world. Whether it's directly to themselves or to the world around them is not that important. What's important is just to create value. Because if people just keep creating value, then there's all this value. There's more than everyone needs, and people don't have to fight over it. Of course, in a society like that, you get one greedy person, and they come and just gobble everything up and screw it up, and you have to have something. The moral people have to stop that person. They have to stand up, and regardless of who that person is or how powerful they are or whatever, the moral people have to say, well, here goes my courage. Let's go. Let's get as many people as we can together. Let's go stop this person in whatever way we have to and protect our society with whatever force, even lethal force if necessary. And like that's one of the things that, I think you really have to have a high level of morality to have a society that can really function long term, because you have to be able to have this kindness and generosity and just general love for each other and caring. But you also have to be able to say, this person is screwing it up. Now we got to be as ruthless as we need to be to this person. Hopefully bring him to our side of kindness and love and generosity. But if they will not do that, we will do whatever we have to do to prevent them from tearing our entire civilization down. So, there's, anyway, let's move on. Okay, give me 3 more minutes. Okay, I'm going to be on for 3 more minutes, and I'm going to go get out of here.
These kids are bugging you.
Yeah, these kids are buggering me. Okay. Is what we are morally obligated to download into our kids. Oh, wait. Yeah. Intergenerational wealth and knowledge is what we are morally obligated to download into our kids. Yeah. Download. I was planning on cleaning them. Oh, wait. You were planning on cleaning your kids? No, this is a continuation of something else. Right. This is about the washing machine. I was planning on cleaning them, but I really feel overwhelmed with the idea of redoing the coils. I'm really hoping just clean and put a new wire on it. You know what? There's a good chance that's going to do it. Like, probably like half the things, maybe more than half the things I've successfully repaired in my life just involved taking them apart, cleaning them, putting them back together, testing it. It's like, hey, it worked. I don't even know what happened. Maybe there's just some dirt in the way. Maybe when I took it apart and put it back together, I made some connection that was loose or whatever. But like so many times, just taking something apart, getting the dust and the dirt out of it, cleaning it, putting it back together, it just fixes things if you do a good job of that. But if that doesn't fix it, you're not going to break it. If you got motors that are already broken, go ahead, try rewinding the coils. If you break it, it's already broken. You lost nothing. So, just start doing it, knowing that you have nothing to lose. Give it a try. And it doesn't work, you didn't lose anything, Give our babies the best of us. Yes, Lois, exactly. Totally. Wizard of the North, did you hear the recent controversy? I'm saying it like an English person. I love how they say controversy about the Times article that was titled, "Why Ultra-Processed Foods Are Not as Bad as You Think?" Wow. I see a title like that, and I can't help but think they want us sick. Yeah, I am not buying that title. I'm pretty sure ultra-processed foods are worse than most people think by a lot. Like I stopped eating processed food. Wow. Like I can really notice the difference. Just just generally speaking, like my energy level, my mood, like it's just easier to get up in the morning. And I always would like drag myself out of bed when I wanted to get out of bed. But now it's easy, you know, now I just get up with the sun. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm older than I was when I ate that crap. And I was never like a big processed food guy, but you know, I went through periods of time where I ate some. And yeah, there's definitely a difference in the way I feel and just my health, you know. Jason R says, hello you. Yeah. Ken, I have a heel spur and I'm overweight. I bought some running shoes and just wearing them irritated it. I want to run so I can lose weight and get healthy. I'm not obese, but I'm feeling heavy and help. Okay, start with some push-ups. If you got a problem with your heel, start with some push-ups. And I actually don't know exactly what a heel spur is. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be something on your heel. Probably. Is it just like a pain in the bottom of your heel? That's the... be able to find one at a junkyard, or these people are selling them on Craigslist all the time because they'll buy them and like use it for a week and then get rid of it. Like you can get those really cheap, or even just buy one new, whatever. Or actually go biking, you know, or do standing squats. Like there's so many things you can do before running when you're not ready to, I've gone over 3 minutes. The kids are going to murder me now. Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of activities you can do for your legs before you get to running to get ready, you know, maybe work out the heel spur and stuff. All right, I gotta get out of here.
These kids are
Jaimie, don't listen to the voices in your head. No, the voices in my head, they're the best ones. Ken, just start walking. Wizard of the North has a great idea here. Just start walking every day. Even just a kilometer will make a difference. You may also want to look into barefoot shoes. Yeah, I wish I knew what a heel spur was right now because I'd give better advice. But yeah, if you can walk on it and not run, you could just start walking and carry something heavy with you if you want to make it. And just, you know, maybe the first week, just walk normal. The second week, you know, carry a rock in each hand, and every week just add a little bit of weight. Next thing you know, you'll just be like, you know, take your time with it. All right. I gotta go watch a movie with these crazy kids because I told them we're gonna watch a movie tonight. And is this your Lego invention?
It's happening.
Oh, all right. I better get out of here. I hope everyone's having a great time with your kids or without your kids. Let me just scan through these real quick. Peaked at late 1980s for longevity and durability. When machines were made by humans on a lathe. I thought tools from like the 1950s. They're like the best tools ever. Go watch a movie, Jaimie. Yes. All right, you guys can yell at me now because I've overdone my time.